Number 1. Keelhauling. This barbaric yet creative torture method was reserved for crewmates who committed serious crimes such as murder. Most people have never heard of keelhauling, but its brutality cannot be overstated. Pirates would loop a rope around their entire ship. It ran the length of the pirate ship, including the portion submerged in water. On the submerged portion of the ship's hull, barnacles often attach themselves to the wood. Over time, millions of barnacles can accumulate on a ship's hull. Barnacles are extremely rigid creatures whose body is very sharp. Pirates marked for death would be tied to the rope and thrown overboard. Then, a crew would slowly pull the looped rope. Victims were dragged underwater against 100 feet of barnacles that were as sharp as knives. It was a human cheese grater. This wasn't enough to kill a person, but victims wish it was. If they didn't drown on the first round of keel hauling, then they were thrown overboard again. The victim's sliced up body would be dragged against the barnacles once more. If they somehow survived this, they were thrown in a cell to recover. However, keel hauling was designed so that even if you lived, you would slowly die afterwards. They had thousands of wounds, so preventing infection was nearly impossible. Number 2. Marooning. This punishment was a form of mental torture intended to destroy the mind. When a pirate deserted his crew, they were hunted and captured. They would be held in a cell until the pirate crew came across a deserted island. The victim would then be transported to the island with nothing more than a pistol to end his misery. The islands weren't lush and filled with life. They were sandy, rocky, and desolate. This meant certain death. There was no fresh water and no shelter. The little food available were insects and berries. Resourceful pirates would collect rainwater to extend their life. But there was no rescue coming, and they knew that. It often took victims a few weeks to die. Weeks of loneliness, thirst, and hunger. Pirates would go insane as they slowly waited to die. After weeks of torture, marooned pirates who had no more hope used the pistol to end their suffering. Number 3. Strappado. Unlike the first two torture methods, this was used as a punishment, not an execution. It was used to interrogate and torture victims who committed petty crimes. Ropes were tied around the victim's wrists as they were hoisted in air by the wrists. This alone is painful, but it gets worse. The crew would release a portion of the rope, sending the victim into free fall, before holding the rope tight and stopping them mid-air within an instant. The sudden stop from free fall while being bound at the wrists destroyed shoulders and spines. To make matters worse, weights would be tied to the victim's feet, so the sudden stop's damage was amplified even more. Victims would have to live with their injuries for the rest of their lives. This was the goal of the Strappado. Break the victim until they wish they were dead and leave their injuries as a lasting reminder of their mistakes. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider leaving a like and subscribing. Thank you.